Hello everyone and welcome to Canteen Cup. My name is Scott and today we are taking our internet antenna and we're going to have it put up the tower. Our installer James is here today and he's fixing to gear up and climb, but this is the actual antenna that will go almost all the way to the top, about 60 foot up. And this is how I get my internet. This is a modem. It does everything that a modem does, and it's connected to a router inside the house. And the way this company works is they have several towers throughout the area, and they point this antenna to one of their towers, and then my internet is actually over radio waves. And so temporarily we had it at the peak of my house, but you can see there's a lot of trees and that kind of interferes with the signal. And so today he's taking this antenna, he's going to climb my tower and install it about 6 foot up, so we'll be above the trees. So what that'll do is that'll give me better internet service. I will tell you that it is better than dial-up, it's better than DSL. It's not fiber optic, but we get reasonable speeds with it. And so I'm going to walk over to the truck so you can see the truck. And if you live in Northwest Georgia, you may be able to take advantage of this. But this is the truck, and you can see, I think they have a phone number here for you. And you'll be able to contact these people. They're in Haralson County, Georgia. And if you live near here and you're in an area like I am that has no internet, then this may be an opportunity for you to get better service. We have satellite out here. That's about our only other option. And it's very, very expensive, and the quality is just not good at all. So here you go. If you are available, and if you're not in Georgia, there are other places throughout the country that also provide this service. But look into it. It's another option. It's not cheap, but it's not overly expensive, depending on what you need. And for most people, it'll do just fine. With this service, I stream TV in, I stream movies in. We use our internet for work, and it works fine for that. It's a little slower than what we're accustomed to, but all in all, it's not bad. So, hey, I'm going to kind of watch what's going on here, and I'll probably add some more content later. We'll see you. All right, so here's James climbing the tower. You can see he's got my antenna hung off his rear there. James is practicing a safe climbing technique because he's at the point now where if he falls, he dies. And so he's got to be careful. You see he's got all his safety equipment on. This is a professional climber, and I've climbed towers in the past. I've used similar techniques. It does take a lot of work. It does take a younger man. But anybody else contemplating, climbing towers, get instruction, learn how to climb a tower, because like I said, he's at the stage now where if he has a fall, he will die. And so I'll grab another short once he gets to the top, because this can get rather boring, but he's doing a good job. All right, so James is just shy of the 60-foot level, and he's fixing to put the tower up. I just want to show you that he's pretty high up there, and he's safely tied in. He's he's doubly tied in, which is important. So he has a backup in case one gives away. And so he's going to install the antenna, facing it probably off to the right a little bit, because that's where the big tower is. he'll put it up there with a hose clamp. It's a very lightweight antenna. It only weighs about maybe a pound, maybe a pound and a half. And he'll aim it, and then on his way down, he'll secure the cable, and then he'll be done up there, and then hopefully we'll have better internet. So there you go. All right, so James is working his way down, and as he comes down, he's tie wrapping the cable to the side of the antenna tower, and he's putting it down a different leg than where I ran my coax to reduce radio interference. And so again, it's a slow and tedious. It's a lot of hooking and unhooking, but you got to do that to be safe. And this is probably the longest part of the process right now, but he's getting there. He's at about the, let's see, 10, 20. He's at about the 35-foot level, so he's about halfway down. All right, so just kind of wrapping this up a little bit. The installer has come and gone, and if you look right up about there, that is the little black box that connects me to the internet. Again, the thing weighs just a little over a pound, and so far as I can tell, it looks like I am getting better internet because I'm above the trees. And let me move away from this sun a little bit, and let me get where I'm not staring down at you. But I wanted to, testing it so far, it looks like my throughput is better. My speeds are a little bit better, but what's important is I am getting better packet retentions. In other words, your internet is chopped up into little pieces called packets, and each packet has a checksum number, so that when a packet is sent to your destination, that packet is checked against the checksum number, and if both numbers match, the packet is good and it continues on. If the numbers don't match up, then the packet is bad, and what happens is the destination now sends a request back to resend that packet. And if you do that enough times, that actually kind of simulates a slower internet speed because you have to spend time saying to repack it over and over again. And I believe some of that was happening because my signal was going through the trees on my property, and now because it's up over 60 foot, it's at the tops of the trees, and I should have more throughput. It'll take a day or two to really figure that out. But finishing this up, one of the things I was doing last night is I was cataloging on my radio, my 2-meter 440 radio, which is UHF VHF. I was cataloging which repeaters that I can hear to kind of get an idea of what is the range of my antenna, the performance. Now, mind you, I am talking from my base station to a repeater, and really what that means is my antenna is up pretty high. I'm pretty high up in ground level, and then my tower is another 60 foot up above that. And a lot of these towers that I'm pinging or are able to connect to are also high up, which kind of extends your range. And so that being said, it looks like my average range going from my antenna to a repeater is about 30 to 35 miles, and I'm able to hit one repeater, which is about 60 miles away. And that's on top of a mountain further to my southeast. Now, talking to cars or talking to people with the handy talkies, it won't be near as far. We may be more down to the 5, maybe 10, maybe 15-mile range because their antennas will be only so high off the ground, and depending on where they are, if they're down in the valley instead of on a mountaintop, that would reduce their range and my antenna being able to see their antenna. So I put that out there just to give people an idea, when you start setting up your own comm plans, what you need to do. And so if you're talking to a repeater, yes, I can talk to a repeater 35 miles away, and theoretically somebody 35 miles on the other side of that may be able to talk to that repeater, giving our communications link a total range of 70 miles. Now that's you know, that's not bad, and it's a good thing. But if that repeater goes down, or the owner of the repeater doesn't allow you on their repeater, and they have every right to do so, it's a privately owned machine, then you're reduced to point to point. In other words, me talking to somebody with either a mobile radio or a handheld radio or another base station nearby, and that could reduce, depending on antenna heights and what's in between the two antennas, that could reduce your amount of range. So realistically, looking that way, you know, depending on where somebody is and how high their antenna is and what their elevation is and what's in between us and them, that range could be reduced to a mile, 5 miles, 10 miles, 15, maybe 20. It just depends. And so as far as your comms plan, when you're thinking about that stuff, is you have to think about what you're going to do. And the only way you can really tell what your comm plan is going to be is getting on your radio and getting your friends, neighbors, your community to try their radios and see if you can talk to one another. And that's really what it's going to be. But don't have the same expectations as these little radios you buy in Walmart. Say, you know, they'll say 20 or 30 miles, and that's really it's really an out and out lie, unless they're sitting on top of a mountain and you're sitting on top of the mountain and there's nothing in between. Then you might be able to get 20 miles an hour. But if both of you are on ground level, you know, maybe a couple hundred yards. So anyhow, that's our adventure for today. We got our internet up. I can check that box off. The tower is now complete. And now I can go back to other projects. One project I'm working on is getting our fence for our dog run, and I'll be working on that this upcoming week, and hopefully maybe by the weekend I'll get that done. So everybody take care, stay safe and stay secure, and we'll see you out there.